So let us begin our discussion on the topic risk and uncertainty. Risk and uncertainty. So let us understand first what is a risk. What is the meaning of risk? Let us understand first. See, risk is the variability in terms of actual returns compared with the estimated returns. So basically, risk you can understand it is the difference between the actual return which you will be earning from the estimated returns you have expected. Okay, so risk is what variation. So risk is you can say risk is variation between the actual and the expected. Okay, so it can be in terms of investment. You will expect returns. Obviously, when you are making some investment, you will expect some returns, no, from that project. Okay, so what you expect and what is actually earned, if there is a difference, especially there is a negative difference, then we can term it as a risk. So risk will always be present in an investment or any project. So risk is what variability which will may exist in terms of actual returns which you will be getting from that investment or project and what you have expected from that investment in that project. Okay, so in simple terms you can say risk is what you is the actual outcome and what is the expected outcome, the difference between. If it is an downside, that is a unfavorable situation, we can call it as a risk. So before making or taking any task, you will do some expectation that I should get this outcome from this activity. So that will be your expectation. And what is the actual? And if it is an unfavorable, actual result is unfavorable, then you can say it is a risk. That is a variability in terms of actual compared with the estimated. So that is a risk. Always there will be risk in every activity you take. So risk is what you can say inherent in any business activity or in any activity you take. Risk will always be inherent in all the activities. Okay, so in simple terms, from an investment or project point of view, how we can understand risk is the variability, which is the changes which may arise in the actual comparing with the estimated. Okay, so two types of outcome can arise. You expect a 10% return from an investment, but you got 15 percentage. So this is a favorable change. See, you were expecting that you will get 10% return from this project, but actual project return was 15 percentage. So this is an upside, no? So this we will not call it as risk. If it will take other place, you expected 10%, but you got 5 percentage return. It is a downside, so this will be called it as a risk, which is a variability which will arise compared to the actual with the estimated. So in any activity you take place, there will be risk. Okay. So there are some methods for measuring risk, techniques you can say, through which risk can be measured. One is a standard deviation, and another is the coefficient of variation. So these two mathematical techniques can be used for measuring the risk, that is a standard deviation and coefficient of variation. Okay. So in simple terms, understand what is risk. Risk is the difference or variation which can arise in actual outcome compared with the estimated outcome. Now, since our study is restricted to foreign exchange, in this module, you will be understanding about what is foreign exchanges. There can be many types of risk, but our scope of study will be restricted to for understanding what is foreign exchange risk. Okay. Now, understand what is a foreign exchange risk. So just now we have understood that risk is what the variation between the actual outcome from the estimated or expected outcome. So when a business is having a foreign transactions, you can say foreign exchange transactions. Okay, there will be a risk will be there in that transaction also, which you can say it as a foreign exchange risk. So what is a foreign exchange risk? The foreign exchange risk is a risk that exists when the financial transaction is denominated in a currency other than the domestic currency of the company. So if a company in India undertakes any transaction other than rupees, there will be foreign exchange risk. Okay, so foreign exchange risk will arise only when the transaction is denominated in a foreign currency. Understand this much. If a transaction is in Indian rupees, there will be no foreign exchange risk. Okay, and we know that all the foreign transactions are generally taken place in the dollars only, and dollar is a foreign currency. So all the foreign transactions will be having a foreign exchange risk. Okay, so when foreign exchange risk will arise, you should understand first foreign exchange risk will arise only when the transaction is denominated in a currency other than the domestic currency of the country. Okay, so Indian companies domestic currency is India, correct? So if any transaction which is taking place in foreign currency other than domestic currency, that is other than Indian rupees, foreign exchange risk will arise. Now, what is a foreign exchange risk? Exchange risk arises when there is a risk of unfavorable exchange in the exchange rate. So if there is an unfavorable change in the exchange rate between domestic currency and the foreign currency before the date when the transaction is completed, there will be a foreign exchange risk. What is the meaning of this? Let us understand with an example. It will be easy for you to understand. Suppose on 1st April, a export was done by Indian company. Indian company exported some goods to USA. Let us take exported goods to USA. Okay. Exported goods to USA. Okay. Worth dollar 1 lakh. So invoice value of the export was $1 lakh. So obviously, since it's an export transaction, it will be denominated in foreign currency only. It will not be denominated in Indian rupees. So the export was done on when 1st April. That is $1 lakh was the invoice value, and rate of dollar on 1st April was $1 is equal to, let us say, 75 rupees. Say for example. Okay, but the terms of export was that payment will be received after 3 months. Okay, normally export transactions are in credit only. So immediately you will not get the payment. You will get the payment after 3 months. So when you will get the payment on 1st July, let us assume. Okay. On 1st July, the dollar rate was $1 is equal to rupees 65. Say, for example, let us recap the transaction. What was the transaction? On 1st April, Indian company exported goods to USA worth rupees 1 lakh dollars. Invoice was denominated in dollars. On 1st April, dollar rate in India was $1 is equal to 75 rupees for SA. Payment was to be received after 3 months, but payment will be received after 3 months. But on the date of payment, that is after 3 months, the dollar rate was $1 is equal to rupees 65. Say. Now understand whether it is good for the export or exporting company or bad for the exporting company. Understand here there is an unfavorable movement in the dollar rate. Why? Because on the date of export, when transaction is taking place, $1 was 75 rupees. So if the export company would have got the payment on 1st April, it would have got 75 lakhs rupees. Okay, $1 lakh into 75. Simple logic, no? You will get the dollars, you will go to the bank and exchange it for rupees. So you will, for $1 you will be getting 75 rupees. So for $1 lakh you will get 75 lakhs. But payment is not received on 1st April, it will be received on 1st July. On 1st July, what is the rate of $65? So now you will get only 65 lakhs. Exporting company will get only 65 lakh rupees. See now, here there is a downside change in the dollar rate, which is unfavorable for the exporter. So this transaction, we can say there is a risk in foreign, this is a risk, foreign exchange risk, which the exporters or importers will be facing, or any company which is having a foreign exposure will be facing this risk, which is arising because of the rate change or movement in the foreign currency rate. This is known as foreign exchange risk. Okay, so every person who is having a foreign country exposure will be having a foreign exchange risk, will be facing foreign exchange risk, because rates of foreign currency will be keeping on changing. Okay, so here we had understood downside movement. Sometimes it can become 80 also. So it will be advantageous that we will not call it as risk. But always there will be assumption that foreign exchange risk will be there, because you cannot exactly predict the dollar, no? That when you will, on the date when you will get the money, what will be the rate of exchange. Okay, so this movement which may arise, unfavorable movement which may arise in the exchange rate from the date of transaction till the date it is completed. So it always there will be an open position will be there, no? So there will be a risk. Such risk in foreign exchange market is known as foreign exchange risk. So now understand again, see, foreign exchange risk will arise when only when the transaction, financial transaction is denominated in foreign currency, that is other than the domestic currency. First thing you should understand that. And risk will arise when there is an unfavorable change in the exchange rate between domestic currency, India, and any foreign currency. There is an unfavorable change. Just now we have understood in an example. No? If dollar rate is falling down, it will be risky position for the exporters. So from the date of transaction till the date it is completed, that is when you will get the money. Till that time, if there is any unfavorable change in the exchange rate, there will be a foreign exchange risk. See, who will all have the foreign exchange risk? Thus now we have understood any person who is having a exposure in the foreign market or foreign transaction will be having a foreign exchange risk. Like investors who are investing abroad, business exporting, importing goods, services, making foreign investments, all have exchange risk. So if you are having any exposure in the foreign market, you will be subject to foreign exchange risk. But you can always take steps to manage the risk. Okay. So every business house will take steps to manage the risk or mitigate the risk. Manage or mitigate the risk so that there will be least loss possible for a business. So every business will take steps to manage or mitigate the risk. So there are various techniques which can be used for managing or mitigating risk. All the techniques you can call it as risk management. Okay. There is a separate study also called risk management. That is how business will take steps to mitigate or manage or reduce their risk. All the steps taken, all the techniques you can call it as risk management. How you will manage the risk. Okay. So some what techniques are used by business for managing foreign exchanges, that will be try to understand in brief. What are the various techniques which are generally adopted by businesses for managing their risk? So one important technique which business normally use for managing technique is known as derivatives. Very popular technique used by the business for managing the risk is derivatives. Derivative is a risk management technique. Derivative is what? It is a risk management technique normally used by the business houses. What is a derivative? Derivative is a contract. So first understand what is a derivative. Derivative is a contract between two parties. So what is the meaning of derivative? Derivative is nothing but it is just a contract between two parties. But most important thing of this contract is that this contract will not have its own value. So what is the feature of the derivative is that derivative contract will not have any value on its own, but it will derive its value from an underlying asset. Very important. Derivative is a contract between two parties, but most important feature of derivative is that this contract will not have any value. It will derive its value from an underlying asset. Now, very important how this is possible. A contract, if you're entering into a contract, it should have some value on its own, no? But derivative contract is not having any own value. Its value will be depending upon some other assets value. Such contracts are known as derivative contracts. Before understanding this definition, we will first understand an illustration. Then we will again come back to the definition. Read this illustration. Wheat farmers may wish to sell their harvest at a future date. Okay, so there is a wheat farmer who will sell his harvest at a future date, obviously. So what he can do to eliminate the risk of change in price, what he can do, he can enter into a derivative contract. And the price of this derivative will be driven by the spot price of the wheat, which is underlying. See, farmer is there, he will sow the seeds of wheat. Okay. After that, after some months only, he can sell the harvest. Okay. Let us assume 3-4 months time will be taken for that wheat to grow. For example, let us take in January, this farmer has sown the seeds for wheat. So it will take some time. Let us say in May, the wheat will be grown and he will be selling in the market. Now, as a farmer, he will be always worried, no, that in May, what will be the price of the wheat in the market? Okay. Because there is almost a gap of, you can say, 4 or 5 months time is there. Because he is putting the seeds in January and actual crop will grow only in May. So he can sell in May only. So as a farmer, he will be concerned about what will be the price of the wheat in the May. So there is a risk. Now you can understand there is always a risk of price change. Okay. Suppose in January 1 kg of wheat is sold for, let us say, 40 rupees. But in May it may become 35. So farmer will be losing 5 per kg. No? There is always a risk here. Okay. Now the farmer will be concerned if it becomes 35, then he will be losing 5 per kg. So it is a risk will be present in this. So now what farmer can do? He will enter into a contract. He can enter into a contract with the, you can say, dealer, you can say, who will purchase his wheat. So he can enter into a contract. That contract will be known as derivative contract. Now, what is the peculiarity of this derivative contract? It will not have in its own value. What contract he can enter? He can enter that in May, I will sell my wheat harvest to you at rupees 38 per kg. Now, very important, this contract is not having in its own value. This contract derived its price from the wheat price. Okay. Now, how this 38 price is arrived? For that, there are various mathematical techniques that is not in our study. This price can be estimated using a forward theoretical price theory, etc. That we will not at present. We will not discuss how to arrive at a forward rate. Okay, this forward rate will be estimated using the spot rate. Okay, that we will understand sometime later. Now, what farmer can do? He will enter into a derivative contract. Now, if you will understand, this contract is not having any value. This contract's price is derived from the wheat's price. That's why we say that this contract is a derivative contract. Now, if you will see, in January, price was 40, but farmer estimated that in May it may become 35. So, to avoid 5 rupees loss, he had entered into a derivative contract. And in that he has entered into the contract to sell at 38. it is less than 40, but you can say that still he will be avoiding loss by rupees 3 loss he has reduced. If he had not entered into this contract, he would have sold in May for 35 rupees. But now, since he had entered into this derivative contract, he will sell for 38. So he has reduced his risk by rupees 3. So this is the risk management technique. He has mitigated his risk of rupees loss of rupees 3 by entering into this contract. So this contract is known as derivative contract. This contract will not have in its own value. Now you understand why this contract is not having any own value. This contract will be having value from the underlying. Here underlying is the wheat. So always a derivative contract price will be based on some other thing only. Here this contract price is based on the wheat price. Okay. So if similarly, if you are entering into a derivative contract in share market, in share market also you know that there will be price fluctuation, so you can enter into a derivative contract in share market also. So in share market, when you will enter a derivative contract, its price will be based on the share prices. So always remember, derivative contract will not have its own price. Its price will always depending upon some other thing which is known as an underlying asset. So in our example, underlying was the wheat. If you are entering into derivative in share market, the underlying will be the share price. Okay, that's why we say that derivative is a contract which will not have any own value. Okay, so I think we can stop here. More discussion on derivative we will do in the next class.